Hello everyone and welcome. My name is Rover692 and today we are going to be looking at something in Minecraft. I'm just storing stuff away here. Today we're going to be looking at some redstone creations that I've made. They're pretty much all related to the same thing. But before we start, let's go head over this way. Travel a bit through all the redstone creations. The one we started in is the main creation, but we're going to go all the way over here. And if it loads in, here we go. Alright, so that's just a castle that I made from boredom. It's my sand castle. It's got some iron bars and lava and stuff. But anyway, there are bats everywhere. Let's make it daytime so that way they all go away. And let's take a look at our first thing here. So I started off with this. I wanted to make something with wooden buttons. So I created this two-room setup here where you shoot the buttons, and the game idea was that there would be lights above this where you have to shoot them in a certain amount of time in order for it to work. I missed that one. In order for you to get to the next level, and it'd be like a mini game of sorts, but the only problem is you have to collect the arrows to reset it. So I'm not sure how I'm gonna get this to work eventually, later on, but I'm sure I will at some point get this to work. But anyway, so you hit those arrows, and the lights corresponding to them go on. That was just an idea for an output after you've hit the things, and they stay on until you reset it, like so. And if you come back in here, boom, all reset. Alright, so that was my first idea. Then I wanted to make something for the randomizer for the light thing that you'd have to follow. So I made this. But then I started to think about it, and I really didn't like it because it wasn't really that random enough. It's not as random as I wanted it to be. Plus, what if you wanted to make the difficulties easier or harder or something like that? You wouldn't be able to set in your own patterns. So I then, over here, kind of away from that area, if I keep heading this way, I should find it. Here we go. I am using normal render distance instead of far. I mean, I'm not looking at stuff that's too far away, so I started working on this, and this would be the old way to actually make a storage device other than a cell, which isn't very good, isn't a very easy thing to use. But then I remembered we're in 1.4.2, and if you look over here, I remembered that you could lock repeaters with the new update. So if we go over here, this was the first setup that I had. There's one save place with 6 inputs and 6 outputs. So you can put in whatever you want to put in here. So we'll put in that. And you could save it and then display it. And you don't have to keep these on, just so you know. So it'll display that. And then you can reset it with these all being up and then set in a different value and then display that. So it'll reset. No? I guess it doesn't display. Okay, yeah, it doesn't save one. Okay. So that was pretty much my first setup, but obviously that's only one save place and only one visual output. So I spent a really long time on this, and it's pretty big. It's bigger than it needed to be, but I want it to be kind of intricate and easy to understand. So I made this. So this is pretty much the main idea for the final product. So this is your input wall. This is where you put in whatever you want to, like the 2x3 arrow or light display. this is the input display board. So whatever you put up here, it will show up on the board. So that's what it'll eventually output. And then over here I have 3 cells of 6 instead of just 1. I made it modular. That way you can add on as many as you want. You'll just have to add on the levers, but that's not too big of a deal. And then I have the output board, and I need to flip this down so that way it displays the output board. I have it so that it won't display or display, whichever. Anyway, so first let's write a few slots here. So we're going to write to A first, and we're going to put in these 2, this one, and this one. Okay, so that's going to be put to A. Okay, so that's done. So now we're going to reset all of our stuff. Ooh. Then we're going to write to B. Okay, in B we're going to put the sides. Okay, then we're going to stop writing to B. Then we're going to reset it again. And then we're going to write to finally the C, and we're going to put kind of like a V here. And we're going to finish with that. Okay. So now that we have all these written in there, we can now go to our display board. We can turn this on. And if we want to read it, we can read slot A. And it is a little slow, but there's our slot A. So we can turn that off. Takes a bit. All right. We can read slot B. This should be the 2 sides. And then finally, we can read slot C, which should be the V shape. There it is. So obviously this is just a basic setup, but I think it's a pretty good start for something that's going to eventually, turn this off now, something that's going to eventually be like an arcade game. So this is pretty much just the save aspect of it. So I'm going to try and run this through. Actually, I'm going to make it nighttime. Is it 1600? There we go. All right, so I'm going to make it nighttime just so that way we can look at this a little bit easier. I think it's a little bit easier to see redstone when it's on. So let's go back in here for 1 second. And let's try to see where all of these go. So let's just put in like something. Okay, so that the right display board is really easy. It's just literally the outputs of the levers being turned around all the way over to this side. But as you can see, there are parts of it that keep going this way. And these go all the way over to our modular. This is pretty much like a bay for memory. I have 3 of them set up. And basically what it does is these go vertical, and this one's just the regular one. So this one is slot A. And we set it to not right to slot A, so it's not going to be able to go through here because these are on. So this is pretty much locked right now. But if we go to our right lever, and I am going to be going back and forth a lot, so I'm sorry, but it will hopefully help you understand this. So if we go to our right slot A, and we turn that on, so if we follow this all the way back, this redstone line right here, this is our right slot, we go over here and we see that these repeaters are now not disabled, so these are now being changed. So the only thing is, okay, when we lock it, so let's go lock it, all the way back here. So that's pretty much locking the redstone repeaters by doing that. And then we go all the way back. You'll see that it doesn't actually display the outputs still. It's not displaying the outputs. And I did that because I wanted to have a read ability, because you don't want to have all of the different things reading at once, because that'd be silly. So this top area right here with the torches actually stops it from being disabled by the redstone. So this one's off, on, off, on, off. Okay. So when we do the read function, it'll actually show an output. Now, read, right. Okay, so read. So, I made, now right now it's not disabled, but I made a little switch here that will basically disable any outputs whatsoever. And that was kind of just for like maybe like a start button or something. I don't know. I just felt like putting it on there just in case you wanted to turn off the board. Because if you look back here, we still have the read function on, but and it is showing something on the board, but that's because we haven't turned off the display. But if we turn off the display board, it'll actually just stop outputting signals, but it will still actually be outputting the signals to that line right here. So you could see the off, on, off, on, off right here. It's still outputting it, but it's just not showing it because this is disabled. I just put that in, like I just said, just in case I needed to put in a start button or something like that. But anyway, so that's pretty much it. It's the same thing for each and every one of these. So we can stop reading that. Let's just reset this. It's not too difficult to understand, I think. It's pretty straightforward. Now, the redstone part, you do need to know the different gates and whatnot and how to do this. But I think they made it a lot easier with the new repeater function where you can just power the side of the repeater and it will disable it or lock it. It doesn't disable it, just locks it. So that way if you have a redstone current that's on going through, it'll lock that, vice versa. So it's a really good function. It's really useful. So one more time I'm going to go through it just to show you guys how this, like, or the functionability of it. So let's just go and start inputting stuff. So we're going to write to A to begin with. Now what you could do actually is write to 2 at a time. So if you wanted to write to both of these that you wanted to them both to display this, okay, so we just wrote to A and C. Now it will display this pattern. So if we do read C, it should show that pattern. Oh, got to turn on the board. If we do read C, it should display that pattern. And then after that turns off, if we do read A, it should show that pattern. And it does. So you can write to 2 at a time if necessary. So let's just reset this one more time. And I just want to make sure. Alright, we're good. So we're going to write to A to begin with, and we're going to do the top 3. This one will just give you a better idea. So we'll do the top 3 for this one. Oh, we don't want to read yet. We want to just write. Okay. Then we want to do the bottom 3 for B. And this is kind of just here if you don't know which ones are lit or don't want to have to walk over there. This one's a little bit easier to comprehend than looking at levers from pretty far away. So that's what that's for. I'm going to write to B. So that's written. And then finally we're going to do something really intricate. Let's just do these 2, that one, that one. Let's just do like an L shape. That'll be good. Yeah, like that. We'll write that to C. Alright. And then once we're done with that, we can read them. So we'll read A first. It should be the top 3. There they are. We're going to read B. Should be the bottom 3. Now, sorry, this is a little bit laggy because there are repeaters and stuff that need to be in there. That's just because I made it really big and like unnecessarily big, kind of. I could make this a lot smaller and not require this many repeaters. I just didn't really feel like it. Anyway, and then read C, which should be that L shape. Anyway, so that is... Just make sure these are all up. Yeah, okay. So that is my redstone project. I will be working on this probably regularly because this is really cool. And I think I kind of want to finish this and make it into a game. But anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Please comment, rate, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.